Hey, Corinne here, founder of Speckled, the tool that helps PMs build the right thing at the right time. Today, we have an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about disaster prep for product managers. Now, I am in Hill Country, Texas, and last Sunday our power went out. After that, it was our water went out. After that, it was our internet, and then even my cell phone service was out for a while. So everything's mostly up except for water. Still haven't taken a shower in over a week, and I am really looking forward to that. I think our well is going to be fixed by Friday, so it'll be about 2 weeks without running water, and it really makes you grateful for the things you have. Anyways, so you're probably going like, what does this have to do with product management? Well, there are some disasters that can happen as a product manager, and they're probably not as bad as what has happened the last week in Texas. There have been some pretty tragic stories, so I don't want that to be tossed aside. But I do want to talk about what we can do to plan for disasters as a PM. Now, you're probably wondering, like, what kind of disasters can really happen to a product manager? And they're definitely not as serious as loss of life or limb or injury. But we can have key engineers leave, your product can be pooled, your job can be downsized. Maybe you have a crazy PR issue that goes on. Like, that stuff unfortunately happens. So you got to figure out how to avoid that stuff from happening in the first place. And the first thing that you can do is you can plan. And now this seems really obvious, but it's something that we don't really take the time to do, especially considering how much other stuff we have on our plate. We have stakeholders to please, or not necessarily please, but communicate with, and roadmaps to manage, and specs to write, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. So planning is usually pretty low on the list, especially planning for things like this. But there's some basic things that you can do. For me, the things that I can think of off the top of my head are making sure that you don't have any bottlenecks. And this could be something as simple as if only one person has access to some key architecture piece or application that's needed in a production application, and all of a sudden one day they pick up and leave, and you're like, everything is broken and we don't know why. It can be a bad time. So you want to make sure that you remove bottlenecks and eliminate single points of failure. Another thing you want to do as a PM is you want to keep your skills up to date. This is taking certification courses, regular courses. This is watching videos, reading books, whatever you need to do to stay up to date in product management. And on top of that, you probably also want to keep your network up. I know meetups are kind of not really a thing right now, and virtual meetups don't really fill the same need as an in-person meetup, but whatever you can do to bolster your network and really make some friends with some other product managers, that would be really great. Now, when it comes to the actual disaster, when stuff hits the fan, you just need to be resourceful, because chances are you're not going to have full access to all of your resources, and you're going to have to figure out a way to work around that. You're going to maybe need to take on some design work by yourself, or learn how to do some product marketing, or learn some finance stuff. Like, who knows what you're going to need to do, but you're going to need to be flexible enough to be open to at least trying those things. Another thing you could do is find little wins. It really helps with morale, especially when things are going poorly, everyone's stressed. Whatever you can do to lift the team morale by having little things go right really helps. And then finally, when the storm clears, you just got to evaluate what went wrong. Identify the areas where you could have been better prepared, and then fortify those areas. We can say we could have, should have done all these things. Maybe we should have had a generator, but we didn't. So, you just gotta roll with the punches. And then once it's all over, you'll make it through, and then you'll just be stronger. So anyways, this is kind of a strange episode, but I hope you think about some of this stuff as a product manager, really figure out where things can go really, really wrong and figure out a way where you may be able to mitigate some of those risks. And when the risks do happen, how you can be resourceful and find the little wins to get through it. And then once it's all over, you can look back and figure out what you can do better for next time. And hopefully there never is a next time. In the meantime, if you like this content, check out our newsletter. It's at getspeckled.com/blog. Just drop your email there. And every Sunday we send out a newsletter with the top stories of the week for PMs at small software companies. And in the meantime, I hope you're doing well.